Ramsey and Dybala!
Giorgio Chiellini celebrates a rare goal for him. All brilliantly finished by Weston McGanny. And that's a terrific finish from De Ligt.
Now Kulusevski! Little turn for Bernardeschi. Morata! Oh, he's done it! Alvaro Morata!
And Chiesa opens up the angle and fires in a wonderful goal.
Glorious save from Szczesny.
Rabiot, a fine run and a wonderful goal.
Superbly created and calmly finished by Juan Cuadrado.
Bentancur nods it home.
Now Dybala, options in the middle. Ronaldo is one of them. And as they always do, Juventus find a way.
Hello everybody, Happy New Year and welcome to the latest edition of La Fidanzata d'Italia podcast. I'm Vincenzo Gagliardi and today we talk about Juventus' first two matches of the new year, which were against Udinese and league leaders AC Milan. Okay, so new year and tremendous pressure on Andrea Pirlo and this Juventus team to start obtaining maximum points from every fixture, I feel. So this is a team that went into the break 10 points behind AC Milan following that humiliating defeat against Fiorentina before the holiday break. And I feel like this is make or break for Andrea Pirlo, and if he wants to keep his job, he needs to get this Juventus team rallying and going, because I don't feel that they can keep continuing to drop the amount of points that they are dropping. So they need to obtain maximum points, 3 points every game from here on out, I feel. And if you get anything less than that, I feel that a managerial switch is needed. As much as I like Andrea Pirlo, I would push to bring back Massimiliano Allegri. I know they have the funds. They just signed a 55 million euro, I believe, deal with Jeep again. So you don't need any players. You have the squad depth. Just make the managerial switch if you really are struggling to catch up to AC Milan in that first spot. But anyway, moving on to the first match that Juventus kicked off for the new year. That was played against Udinese at the Allianz Stadium in Torino. And this match was a must-win for Juventus and Andrea Pirlo, as I said, as the pressure is looming still and getting higher and higher. They sat in a position going into this match below Champions League qualification and 10 points behind AC Milan. And Champions League qualification for this Juventus team with the players they have and the salaries they're paying is crucial. So going into the match, no Morata, as he pulled out injured before the match, which is a real blow for Juventus given the run of form that he was on. He's playing really well lately for Juventus, so they were definitely bummed to start the match without him. But as the match started, we saw the usual Juventus side that was in possession of the ball that we normally see. But Udinese surprisingly took the lead early on, but that goal was controversially disallowed for Rodrigo De Paul's use of his arm during the build-up play. And after that, Juventus kind of switched gear, I feel. Ronaldo got them going on the half-hour mark, which was one of his 2 goals that he scored that game. Chiesa also got on the score sheet with a good finish. And later on as well, they pulled a 3rd goal ahead with Ramsey, or 4th goal ahead, but that got disallowed for Ramsey's use of his hand in that goal. Then Ronaldo obviously got his 2nd goal of the match. Both of his goals, mind you, coming from open play, which I thought was good to see since a lot of his goals have been coming from penalties lately. So, a lot of people have been talking about Ronaldo's run of form, how he's scoring so many goals, but the reality is he's scoring a lot of penalties. And yeah, I know penalties aren't easy to score, but they are penalties. And if you're going to talk about Ronaldo being one of these greatest players and one of these best players, he needs to score more goals from open play, which, like I said, this game got off going really well, scoring 2 of his goals from open play. Also in that match, the 4th goal was scored by Dybala. So that was Ronaldo's. That was the 3rd goal that Juventus scored that Ronaldo had scored. So Dybala got on the score sheet towards the end of the match, and this was perfect for him. I mean, he got the nod ahead in place of Morata, who was injured, and I feel like this was a good game for him to get that nod, especially against a Udinese side that's struggling at the moment as well. So he definitely needed confidence going into this match, and I've been saying it this whole season so far. He's just playing like a player who lacks the confidence. So He scored a lovely goal, I think. It was a finish into the top left corner with his right boot. I think that's going to give him a world of confidence going into the match against AC Milan that they played, because scoring a goal with his weaker foot, especially coming off his poor run of form, I think that's gonna really boost his spirits and give him some confidence going into that match if Morata wasn't able to play. So back to the match, Udinese did hit the bar twice, and that was a bit of a worry, I feel, for Juventus, because I feel like they switch off just way too much in a lot of their matches. Especially with these teams that they should have no issue like putting away. So the defense is truly worrisome for me. And one player who's at the heart of it, I feel, who's really past his prime, he's not who he used to be. He's not the player that Juventus should be playing game in and game out, is Leonardo Bonucci. I've said it before. I don't know how he's capped, and I disagree with that whole thing. And then on top of it, he just keeps putting in these poor performances. A lot of these goals, if you watch, they come off of his mistake. So whether he loses his mark or he's just too slow, so I feel like his time is done. I mean, he was a great defender in his prime and in his day, but he's not the same, and we need to move on. Juventus need to move on. They need to get Demiral healthy and partner him with De Ligt at the back. The midfield, I feel like the Juventus midfield is struggling at the moment. They have a good midfield. I think they just need to get their chemistry going, and I think Pirlo needs to work on their defensive shape, because there's a lot of games that I've seen where there's just too big of a gap between the midfield and the defense, and a lot of times these teams are exposing Juventus. If you watch the match, they're able to, once they play in behind the midfield and in between that defense and the midfield, Juventus are completely exposed, and that's where a lot of the chances for the opposition comes. So I think they need to figure that out and maybe sit a little deeper, or have Bentancur sit a little deeper. I mean, something needs to happen. They can't leave that big of a gap. I mean, it's just not working for them. So hopefully Pirlo can get that fixed before the match against AC Milan. Overall, though, I did think it was a good performance from Juventus. They got the 4-1 win. I mean, they did dominate play. So can't be too upset with the result. They got 3 points, which is exactly what Juventus needed. So that was excellent to see. So the next match, which were just a few days later after the match against Udinese, was against league leaders AC Milan. And this was a perfect opportunity for Juventus to close the gap on the teams above them, including AC Milan, since Inter Milan dropped points earlier that day. They lost Sampdoria 3-1, and Napoli also dropped points to 10-man Spezia, losing 2-1. So again, as I said, if Juventus beats Milan this day, 3 of the top dogs drop points, and it's a great opportunity for Juventus to catch up. This is exactly what Pirlo needs, exactly what Juventus needs. And Juventus did end up getting the win, 3-1 at the San Siro. So this was excellent. They ended Milan's win streak since goes back to June, I believe, of 2020. Also, remember that Juventus, as I stated earlier, have a game in hand against Napoli, as that game was originally forfeited by Napoli earlier in the season, but that still has to be played, and that could prove to be a huge match, given the date that it's played and what the standings look like. But anyway, diving into the match against AC Milan, this was a game where I really did not expect Juventus to get anything out of the match going into it, especially away from home and missing players like Alvaro Morata, Alexandro, and Cuadrado ruled out with COVID. So this was, I didn't think they were going to get anything out of it, but I want to give credit to this resilient Juventus side, as they were able to get the 3 points they needed to close the gap to 7 points from first place. AC Milan still in first place, so this loss really didn't do anything for them. I mean, they did miss out on the chance to extend that lead over AC Milan to 4 points, but again, Juventus needed this win, 7 points now, and if they win that match against Napoli, it's 4 points against AC Milan, or behind AC Milan. So, and also another interesting fact that I found pretty interesting and pretty cool was this was the first time that these two sides, Juventus and AC Milan, have met where Juventus was trailing Milan in the standings since 2015, I believe was the year. So I thought that was pretty cool. I wanted to get that out to you guys. But Juventus in this match started out in the ascendancy, I felt. Milan, they just were content to play the counterattack. Juventus, I thought went into this match and they dominated the game, I thought. But Milan did look very dangerous on the counterattack. You can tell that was their game. That's what they wanted to do. They were going to sit back. They were going to absorb this pressure. And Juventus has been vulnerable to this counterattack from many sides. I mean, a lot of their goals, they exposed a lot of players forward with Pirlo trying to get them to play this attacking football. So it is vulnerable, especially because Pirlo being a new manager, I don't think he has the experience to fully get this team playing that type of game, that type of attacking game, and then be able to defend the counterattack. But this was a game where Rafael Leao had his way against Juventus. I mean, very vulnerable against the counterattack. And it was also a very open match from the opening whistle. I mean, back and forth, and it was really crazy given the circumstances and the way the two teams came into this match. Yeah, but anyway, Chiesa, I thought, had one of his best performances, probably his best performance, I have to say. I have to give it to him in the black and white shirt. He hit the post early on, which he was unlucky doing. He took that on really well. He took a volley, half volley on really well, and he almost scored, hit the post. Gigi Donnarumma had nothing to do. He was just frozen. It was just that type of a shot, but he hit the post. He did end up scoring twice in this game. Like I said, this was his best match that I've seen him play in the Juventus shirt so far. Also, another player I want to give credit to is Paulo Dybala. I mean, he had the assist for Chiesa's first goal. It was a wonderful back heel touch pass for Chiesa. Chiesa took it in stride, and really the two kind of clicked this game. Dybala and Chiesa, they had a good understanding. Dybala also got the assist for Chiesa's second goal, but I don't want to jump on the Chiesa bandwagon just yet. I'm not really a fan of Chiesa. I think he is overrated, but we'll see if he can keep producing. If he can keep producing at this game, which I hope he does, hope he proves me wrong. It'll be good not just for Juventus, but it'll be good for the national team as well. So I hope he can continue this run of form, but I just don't see it happening. I don't see him as a type of player that's capable of continuing playing like that. But moving on, Milan did score off Çalhanoğlu tackle on Adrien Rabiot, and I felt like that should have been called back. I mean, it was very controversial. I'm surprised the referee was in like plain sight, like he could see. I mean, if you watch the replay over and over, you can see Çalhanoğlu's eyes. They're not even on the ball; they're on Rabiot. Rabiot blows past him, and Çalhanoğlu's eyes are just on Rabiot, and that's a clear foul to me. I mean, how VAR didn't get involved either to pull that back, I mean, is beyond me. I mean, they're saying that it has to be a clear and obvious. Well, that's clear and obvious. So, and that's what VAR is there for, I would think, right? But anyway, they let it go, and literally right off that tackle, they were on the counter attack with Rafael Leao, and Milan equalized 1-1. And that's how they went into the break. I think they scored a couple minutes off halftime, or right on the halftime whistle. So it was very disheartening to see that, especially given how well Juventus played. But Leao, like I said earlier, he had his way with this Juventus team, and this Juventus side really struggles to deal with pace. And Rafael Leao has a lot of pace, and he's been playing really well for AC Milan, but he gave the defenders a lot of trouble today, and played a very good game against the Juventus side that I thought played pretty well today. Another player who I thought had a poor performance, rather, was Cristiano Ronaldo. And the only thing he did well, I felt, this whole game was that through ball that he played for Weston McKennie in the second half. It was a beautiful ball that he played, and McKennie probably should have done better with it. He should have placed the far post, and scored, but he didn't. But it was a great ball by Ronaldo. But that was the only thing he did, I felt, the entire match. I felt he was quiet. He was shut out the entire match, and this is what I'm talking about. Andrea Pirlo needs to just man up or just put his foot down and take him out. I mean, I don't care what kind of caliber player Ronaldo is. I mean, you see he's struggling the way he is. He wasn't playing. Take him out. I mean, he took off Ronaldo and Dybala and Chiesa. Those were his first players that he subbed off. Why would you take off? And I was worried at that point because you're taking off the two players, the two catalysts that put your team in front, and really the two best players on the pitch, and you're taking them off. So that really worried me. But he put Kulusevski on, put McKennie on for them, and it was actually ended up being a good swap because Kulusevski played really well, and McKennie got his goal. And McKennie's just been playing really, really well. I mean, scored a goal again this match, as I said, and he's 22 years old. And I also found another interesting fact that I want to get to you guys. He's 22 years old. He's an American player, and he already scored at the San Siro and the Camp Nou. So I think that's pretty cool. Especially, it must be a good feeling for him being an American player and being so young and playing and scoring at such places like that. So with such history, so it's great, and I'm happy he's doing really well. I mean, he's Juve's best midfielder, easy. I feel at this point. I mean, the energy he has. This is what I was talking about so early on in the season too. Juventus, since Vidal left, was missing that midfield player that was just that warrior, that engine, and McKennie is providing that for Juventus, and I feel every team needs a player like this. So this was definitely a great find for Juventus, and it's going to be great going forward. I feel they're going to take up the option to buy McKennie. They have to. I mean, for whatever the fee is, I think it's around 20 million, maybe less. I think maybe, but you have to take the option up given what he's shown so far that he could do. But Kulusevski did play well as he came on, as I said earlier. Another player that I feel that I don't know how to feel about him yet. I mean, he has the skill, sure, but I just don't. I think he's another player that I think people are putting too much hype around. Hopefully, he proves me wrong, and he can solidify his spot in the Juventus spot, being as young as he is. But I just think I just don't see it. I don't feel it from him. But like I said, I could be wrong. Another player that I feel I have to touch on, because it really just bothers me that he continues to get game time, and as much game time as he does get, is Aaron Ramsey. And Pirlo likes him, and I genuinely like Aaron Ramsey too, but he can't play. He cannot play in this Juventus team. Just given his part, even like this game, he played so poor. I mean, he missed a couple opportunities that he probably should have done a lot better with. He should have scored, and he's just so slow. He had one. Juventus were on the counter for one of the few times, and he was the player leading the charge. And if it was a different player, say it was Dybala or Ronaldo, I mean, nobody would have caught him and they would have scored. But Ramsey let the center backs catch up to him, and that's really worrisome, because you're letting a center backs aren't really known for their speed, and but they're easily able to catch up to you and just slow down the whole attack, and then nothing came of it. So that was really worrisome. Like I said, I don't know why Pirlo continues to stick with Aaron Ramsey and give him as much game time as he wants. Especially this match. This match, Aaron Ramsey pretty much played behind. He played in that little hole and was given a lot of freedom, but in that trequartista role almost. And I wouldn't have played him. I would have played Bernardeschi in that spot. And Bernardeschi, I feel like, since that game with the national team in 2020, the end of 2020, where he scored that goal, I feel like he's getting some confidence back, and keeping him on the bench and just putting him on for the last 10 minutes, I think you're just killing his confidence again. And I've said it over and over. I like Bernardeschi, and there's something about Bernardeschi that I just feel like he can make a difference. And there's been moments, even when he's been playing really poorly, where there's just those little moments where he just, like the flick assist, if you remember that little touch pass, the black heel pass that he had for Dybala's goal last season, and the cross a couple games ago rather, and it's just these moments that, I mean, and I just watch him play. I mean, I just watch him play, and I just feel sorry. I feel bad for him, because I feel like if you just give him a little more game time and get his confidence up there, that he could solidify his spot in this Juventus side, especially over Aaron Ramsey. I mean, Bernardeschi, I would play 10 times out of 10 over Aaron Ramsey. So, but that's just me personally. I mean, there's a lot of Bernardeschi critics and a lot of people that don't think he should stay. And on the topic of Bernardeschi, he was asked about his future recently after the Milan match, and he said that he has no intention of leaving the club, and that he wants to prove to Pirlo that he can play, that he can solidify his spot in the starting 11. So I truly, truly hope he gets his opportunity, and I hope he takes it. I mean, I like Bernardeschi. I want him to succeed. Like I said, he's a player that I have a feeling when he plays, like I watch, I just feel like he could be a difference maker. So hopefully he can get on course. Overall, though, I thought this was a fantastic Juventus display, and they very much needed to get this win to stay on course in the title race. So, like I said, very good for Juventus to get these 3 points and close the gap on AC Milan. Juventus will play Sassuolo next, and they will be hoping that they can take maximum points yet again and keep a perfect record so far in 2021, and hope that Inter will drop points to Roma, or even if that game ends in a draw, that would probably be the best case scenario for Juventus, seeing that both teams would only take a point out of that match, and both teams are currently ahead of them in the standings. Also, they'll be hoping for Udinese, and hoping that they can upset Napoli or at least hold them to a draw too. But either way, Juventus only need to worry about themselves and winning out from here on out. Some transfer gossip. 19-year-old midfielder Nicolo Rovella from Genoa will be signed by Juventus in the near future. I mean, there's been ongoing negotiations for this player for quite some time now, and these negotiations are moving towards the closing stages. So I'm not sure how much the fee will be for him, but as of right now, it's going to be a permanent deal. But Juventus will have him remain with Genoa and for about 18 months, and they'll let him finish the loan until 2022. So far, he's played 9 matches for Genoa in Serie A, which is a good sign for a 19-year-old player. So very exciting, and a wonder kid for Italy and for Juventus if he can get more match under his belt. Also, Juventus are in the need of a striker. They'll be looking for help for Alvaro Morata in case he gets suspended, in case he gets injured, or if COVID happens. So they're in the market for a striker. There's been a lot of rumors lately about Fabio Quagliarella, but those rumors have been squashed by Quagliarella himself. And some other players that have been linked with Juventus include Depay, Llorente, Giroud, and Milik from Napoli. So I don't really like any of those options. If I had to pick an option, I would definitely go with Milik from Napoli, given that his contract is set to expire this summer in June, and Napoli will be foolish to keep him. I mean, they don't even use him. So they definitely will be foolish not to cash in on him. So I think they want at least 15 million euros for him. So I know there's been some suitors that have been offering less than that, and Napoli have been declining. So I know Juve are definitely monitoring that situation, because Milik was a target of theirs for quite some time, and he was rumored to actually be the striker of choice before Alvaro Morata. So we'll see what happens with Juventus and the striker situation in this January transfer window. Well, that concludes the latest edition of La Fidanzata d'Italia podcast. Hope you enjoyed listening. As I always enjoy talking about Juventus and the latest news surrounding the club. If you haven't already, please be sure to follow the Facebook page and Instagram page for the La Fidanzata d'Italia. Regarding the latest news about the podcast, including episode release dates, and also feel free to leave comments and ask questions regarding the podcast. I'll try as best I can to answer as many questions as I can in future podcasts and future episodes. And I want to thank you all for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.